I'm Janet Clark, and you are listening to the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. Hello, it is Janet Clark, your host on the Sales Matchmaker Podcast, and I am otherwise known as the Sales Matchmaker. So what I want to share with you today is something that I've learned from my many years in the corporate world, where I would build sales divisions and then running my own B2B sales agency as an entrepreneur. And now, the last 5 or 6 years, matching high ticket sales pros with coaches and consultants. And what I've learned is that hiring a salesperson ain't easy. And I read this quote that said, "It ain't easy hiring a salesperson on the internet." And it kind of hit home with me. So I thought that you'd get a chuckle out of it too. So look, if you're a salesperson and you're listening in here today and you yourself are looking for a high-level coach or consultant to sell for, you may be wondering, does this have anything to do with me? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to tell you why you aren't actually getting matched up or finding a coach or a consultant to sell for, which is the exact same reason why the coaches and consultants can't find the salespeople who can help them to grow their business. So listen up. This applies whether you're a coach, a consultant, or a salesperson. And what I'm going to be sharing with you really is the one skill that's going to guarantee that you can get a match if you're a salesperson, and the one skill that you need your salesperson to have if you really want them to be effective and to be able to do a good job for you. So that one skill, or the lack thereof, is what I'm going to tell you is the missing ingredient in 99.9% of the high ticket closers that are out there. And it's the one thing that they haven't learned. And it's something that when they do learn it, they're going to be more valuable. So you as salespeople will be more valuable. And you as coaches and consultants are going to be absolutely delighted. So it's the reason why you are striking out in your quest to recruit, hire, and train a good salesperson. So I'm going to come back to that one thing in a minute. But I want to start out by asking you a really important question. And that question is, does a perfect salesperson even exist? Now, my business partner, Caitlin, likes to say, we're going to go out and find unicorns. And truthfully, what we've discovered is that we can't and you can't go out and find a unicorn because they either don't exist or because the few magical ones that are actually out there are not looking to be found. They are selling for somebody else and they're pretty happy just where they are. So they're pretty much invisible to you. So we've also discovered, though, that it is possible to create your own unicorn. And we've been able to do that. So that's kind of what we do in my world over in SalesMap is we create these unicorns. And what we do is we turn them into highly effective, high-ticket salespeople. Now, look, I know you've all heard of Stephen Covey, and I just stole the line from him, right? Because he figured out what the 7 habits of highly effective people are. And I could actually share that model, and I could share with you 7 habits of highly effective salespeople. But I'm going to tell you something right now. There is one thing that if the salesperson did that, if they adopted that habit, all the rest would fall into place. All the rest would be great, and we can continue to build on that. But this thing that I'm going to be talking about today is foundational. It is the one thing that is going to make or break whether the salesperson is going to be able to help you grow your coaching or consulting business. So let's look at some of the realities that are true in the marketplace today. If you've spent any time trying to hire a salesperson, you already know these to be true. If you haven't started looking yet, then I'm going to spare you a lot of agony by telling you what is really going on out there. So you don't have to go try to figure this out the hard way on your own. So the first thing is that great salespeople with proven track records are rare gems. They truly are unicorns, and they are definitely not on the job market. They are happily raking in big commissions, selling something else for someone else. So you're not going to get them. I can pretty much guarantee you of that. The second thing is that you, as the expert in your company, are the best salesperson by default. And that is because you sell differently than a salesperson would sell your program. Because being an expert, you have a way of being able to do a little bit of your magic when you actually talk with a prospect because you are the expert. However, because you do this, you actually cannot codify what you do in a way that would help others to sell it for you. The third thing is that those thousands of people out there who call themselves closers are really salespeople who expect you to provide a steady stream of qualified leads to put on their calendar. So don't expect that you're going to go out and find someone who's going to be able to help you in that respect, in that area. They will expect you to have that process all dialed in. Now, the fourth reality that's out there is that getting commission-only salespeople to even show up for trainings, for meetings, for coaching calls, to use your CRM is like herding a bunch of wild cats. It is almost impossible, and you will spend oodles of time chasing these people around, which is going to be a huge distraction from what you're actually supposed to be doing day to day to serve your clients. And finally, the fifth and last reality is that the turnover rate for salespeople in our industry, coaching, consulting, expert agency, whatever we are, it is ridiculously high. In fact, even the biggest players in our industry, the ones that are making $7 or $8 or $9 million, maybe higher, those coaches, for the most part, churn and burn through salespeople extremely at high levels. So there are a few, like I said, unicorns and people that are kind of entrenched in a certain team that, they're all happy, living happily ever after. But for the most part, they are churning and burning through salespeople. And the reason for that is that 99.9% of these salespeople who they bring in are strictly order takers. They expect to get those pre-scheduled calls on their calendar, and they have one goal in mind, and that is they want to close sales. So they want to get on the phone, make the sale, get their commission, and move on. So when your leads aren't super well qualified, or they're not consistent and you can't always predict exactly how many you're going to get each week, or the prospects legitimately need a little more time to make a buying decision, they're not really ready to make a one-call close, your salespeople are going to literally hang up the phone, shut off the Zoom call, whatever they're doing, and they're basically going to be next. Because if they can't close that person right then that's not money in their pocket. They're going to move to the next person. So what that means is they're burning through a lot of your leads that you've spent good money on, right? So in a way, you can't really blame them, because if that coach or consultant that's getting those leads for them isn't providing them with the right leads, right? if you as a coach or a consultant don't have a sophisticated lead generation and nurturing process like the multi-million dollar coaches do, you are not going to be able to maintain or retain these salespeople at a high level. So let's face it, if you are under $1 million, a million or under in revenue right now, you aren't going to have a marketing team. You don't have a videographer team, right? You don't have automated lead nurturing process that are cross-channel, multi-pronged marketing approaches that are giving you brand recognition across all the different channels and in different ways, and whether it be email or all the social media platforms, or you don't have those kind of relationships with the JV partners who can put you in front of huge lists. So, those coaches that are continually losing these salespeople, they're like you, right? Maybe they have a pretty good size social media following. You've probably done a lot of work like I have to build up your LinkedIn or your Facebook following, Twitter. Maybe you have a credible sized email list, and you actually do have an email campaigns that you can nurture people and work through to get some leads to come through that way. Maybe you're investing in some Facebook ads, or you have an online course, or you have a Facebook group. So you probably do have a lot of the elements in place, but they're not enough to sustain a really high level salesperson, the kind that want you to just provide all the leads for them. So technically what you have is you have this one-to-many marketing that's going on right now. And maybe you're even doing some organic, which is a little bit of one-to-one, but probably if you're at the level where you're a multi-six figures or going to seven figures, you've got some automation going on in your marketing. But what you don't have is you don't have anybody who is really cultivating those leads on a one-to-one basis. So that leads me to that one thing that salesperson needs to do in order to be able to be valuable to you. And you salespeople, what you need to do to be valuable so that you can be wanted, needed, and desired by these coaches and consultants and add value, which is basically you need to be a sales pro. And I am using the shortened version of pro, but it stands for producer. So you need to be a producer, or you need to hire a producer. Now, if you're a salesperson and you're a producer, what does that mean, right? Well, the definition of a producer as it relates to a salesperson is someone who is responsible for producing sales for agencies or for himself if he is self-employed. So we're going to use agencies as kind of a all-encompassing term, right? That can mean for your coaching business, your consulting business, your marketing agency, whatever your expert services are, but we're going to just call that an agency. So most people kind of associate the word producer with insurance sales, right? And most self-employed commission salespeople who are in insurance are doing a lot more than just getting sales calls placed on their calendar. So what makes a producer different than a closer? Well, it's really three things. There's three differentiators. Number one, the producer will prospect and fill the pipeline on behalf of you as a coach or a consultant on your behalf. And here's the thing. Did you know that it takes an average of 8 outbound contacts to actually even reach a prospect? So think about that. To get somebody to come into the funnel, right? To make contact with that person and engage in a conversation, it can take up to 8 times. Now, if your automation is great, maybe you're totally getting those people into your funnel And that may be fine. But for a lot of us, I know that unless we're buying ads, we don't have enough automation and we are doing it on our own. Like we're doing organic outreach. And that's not sustainable for a coach or a consultant. You need somebody to do that for you. That's what a producer will do. They will actually represent you and your business, your brand on social media and within your database, but primarily in outbound through your social media to identify your ideal client and actually engage them in conversations to bring them into your world. Okay. The second thing is that producers nurture relationships within the pipeline on your behalf. So, did you know that it actually takes between 6 and 8 touches to turn that prospect who's in your world into a qualified lead? So, how do you continually do that within your pipeline? Well, it's great to do email and it's great to do Facebook Lives and it's great to have all of these other pieces of content, but they are one to many. They're not really individualized. However, a producer, you, if you're a coach or consultant and want to do it for yourself, can make direct outreach to people within your tribe. But your producer can do that on a full-time basis. They can dedicate themselves to you, your business, and doing outreach into your database. So not only can they bring people in, but they can nurture those people once they're in your world. Okay. The third thing that makes a producer different than a closer is that a producer will follow up multiple times. Now, here's a staggering statistic. 80% of all sales are closed after 5 follow-up attempts. So when you have a closer who is expecting to get on the phone and make that call right then, maybe they'll do one more follow-up call. But if they're not continually doing the follow-up and nurturing and cultivating that relationship after the sales call, you are leaving a ton of money on the table. So the producer is going to have the wherewithal and the stamina and the persistence to continue to nurture and cultivate those people to become clients. And that is where the magic is going to happen, because so many more of those clients are actually going to come into your world because of the follow-up that the salesperson did. Now, granted, if you're going to bring a producer on, you absolutely need to have a CRM system, because there has to be a way for that person to keep track of all of these relationships and stages that those relationships are in. And so, if you don't have that, then you need to get it. But I can help you with that if you are at this point where you're ready to bring on a salesperson. So now I just told you the reason why it ain't easy to hire a sales pro. They are a rare breed. And you, as a coach or a consultant, are also a rare breed, because more than likely you don't have the marketing initiatives in place that the really high-level coaches do have in place. So now, if you're a salesperson and you're listening to this, you need to really do a little soul searching here and really truly ask yourself, am I willing to be a sales pro? Am I willing to be a producer? Do I even know where to begin? Well, I'm going to tell you that if you do this, if you actually add this skill set to what you already know how to do, which is get on an appointment, hopefully, and do a sales call and do pretty well in that area. But if you can become a much broader salesperson, if you can become one of the old-fashioned type of salespeople, like I was when I started in my corporate job, where somebody just handed me a territory and said, there you go, go, nurture it, build it, cultivate it, fill the pipeline, nurture the leads, bring the sales calls in and, make the sales, which is what I did. So I know it, and I know it's valuable. And I also know it's a life skill. Like once you know how to do that, you're super valuable, and you will always, as a salesperson, you will always be working, always. Whether you're working for yourself or whether you're working for someone else, you're hugely valuable. So I'm making it my mission to find you if you want to learn how to become a sales pro. And it's my mission to just keep bringing sales pros in, teaching them our methods, because I have partners. And between the group of us, we are super skilled at all aspects of turning sales people into sales pros, including how to do the outreach, how to manage the whole CRM process, how to cultivate these leads, build the relationships. We really know how to manage salespeople. We know how to help you manage salespeople if you're a coach or a consultant. And it's my mission. Like, if you, as a salesperson, have a genuine desire to really make yourself valuable as a team player to somebody who will pay you well and bring you onto their team, then you should consider coming and going through our program. And of course, if you desire to make a lot of money and you desire to live a life of freedom, then of course you need to become a sales producer, because a great sales producer will always make money, and they can work from anywhere and schedule and work on their own at their own hours. So now if you're a coach or a consultant and you just realized, click, I need a sales pro, I need a producer, that is the next hire for me in my business, then we need to talk, because I already have a stable full of them. So that's what we've been doing. We've been bringing people in. We've been putting them through our boot camp. We've been training them, cultivating them to become excellent producers. And they will be able to come in, and we'll match them up with you, and we'll work through that transition, and we'll get them producing for you. So we devote our time to doing the hiring, the interviewing, the recruiting, the training, so you don't have to do that. Because I will tell you, like I said, going out and trying to find one of these people is like finding a needle in a haystack. So good luck. You don't need to spend the next 6 months of your life figuring out those 5 things that I just told you are the realities in the marketplace. So now you know. Okay. So if you're looking for someone who will do systematic outreach, who will produce new leads for your pipeline, who will nurture and qualify the leads within your pipeline, and who will enroll new clients for you, then we should talk. So that's my message for today. It ain't easy to find a great salesperson, but it is possible. At least I know it's possible through SalesMap, and I haven't found any other way to do it. So, which is why I had to dedicate my whole business model to training these people and teaching them what I've learned over the years. And, we use a lot of LinkedIn. I'm pretty experienced in LinkedIn from my past life. But it doesn't have to be just LinkedIn. I mean, it could be Facebook, it can be Twitter, it can be email, it can be retargeting. There's so many ways that we can work on figuring out the best way to do the producing within your own situation. So it's a little custom for each person. So anyway, that's what I have to say. I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys are definitely realizing that there are people out there that can really help you scale your business. The first thing to do if you want to scale your business, if you're at that point, is definitely to bring on a salesperson, because the salesperson will pay for themselves, whereas everybody else that you hire is an expense to your business. So that's it. And I hope you have a wonderful week selling. And I would love to hear from you. Janet@salesmap.me is my email address. And until next week, happy selling and bye for now. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. To hear more episodes, visit us at www.thesalesmatchmaker.com.